Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FFR channel, and more of my shenanigans, which has nothing to do with FFR, except for the tournament coming up. What do you think, Sonny?
I mean, as somebody that you've taught LADX stuff to, this is a tournament I'm looking forward to because one, I know you're extremely good at the game. Two, you have taught so much to me that really upped my play level. And three, it's going to be a good time.
That's because you say that in this month's monthly for LADXR, I'm in like fifth because I died twice to Decil.
Oh no!
it was pretty bad. And I didn't do some checks. There's actually it's a new feature coming to the normal branch, which is like a roguelike dungeon chain. So it's just dungeon, 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 egg.
Ooh.
Yes, it's actually really interesting. It's currently in its experimental phases, but it was quite fun to play. And yeah, there are a lot of other speedrunners starting to really get into the randomizer scene, and it's making me feel less comfortable on my throne just behind Dragon.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair because a lot of the vanilla runners are super good anyway.
Oh yeah, like I'm a vanilla runner in my off time. I've got like a sub 1 hour time for no move, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. It's just like, nope, nope, it's not that good. I should really go for that 56 that I'm capable of.
Yeah, you'll do it in time.
Yeah. That said, once again, we're back, and this time we're discussing Seashell Hunt. For those who caught the 101 class, you'll notice a few changes just to the tracker, and that is that I have the checks per dungeon live with Key Sanity on. Same settings as last week, so there's not going to be any dungeon shuffle, though that will be likely a setting later in this tournament. But mainly this is just to run over dungeons and how you do Seashell Hunt specifically. There's not a lot of changes, but the little things that do get changed make a big difference for your routing, and it's very much something to consider. Of one thing of note, I think I mentioned last time, there are 24 shells you can get and 2 you can get from the Seashell Hut. Seashell Hunt has 32 shells, and none are available from the Seashell Hut, so you never have the 5 or 10 free. That said, people will probably ask where those extra 8 are. Those extra 8 are located in the instrument locations of each dungeon. So you can get away with, I can beat a dungeon, it will give me 1 shell closer to my goal, but is it worth it to deal with the cutscene, to deal with the boss, etc.? The boss is going to have a check anyway, so it's pretty much going to get you 2 checks, regardless of which boss you're doing. But it's that last little bit of, is it worth it versus just going somewhere that has higher density of checks? And that's going to be the main thing to discuss today. So without further ado, I'm going to hit this go button in 3, 2, 1. And get back to my thing. Because, good old BizHawk and not working otherwise.
Oh, isn't it great?
Yep. As
But
usual.
yeah,
Yep. As
I
last
was gonna
time,
say,
there's also an input display, so...
yay, input display.
Yep. So you can see if I'm doing anything that's weird. Alright, sword start, that's always a plus. And as last time, this is just a normal seed. Oh yay, Magpie crashed. Alright.
Good old Magpie doing Magpie things. But yeah, as Maddie mentioned, check density in just with Seashell Hunt is extremely big. If you've played Z3R and done Triforce Hunt, it's very similar to that in the respect of you're going for your 20 shells, and then from there, if you have what's required to go into the egg, you can then go into the egg. It doesn't automatically complete the game for you, unlike with Triforce Hunt and Z3.
Yeah, I was really hoping, not gonna lie. When I was
Right.
doing my testing for this, I'm like, please tell me I get 20 shells and just go to the hut. Nope.
Nope.
But that's it. Sword start is a pretty simple start. It's generally check your stuff, either check the beach or the woods. I'm a fan of the beach because I'm a fan of the beach.
Hey, that makes 2 of us, actually.
Yeah.
I love checking Tornbo Shores first.
Yeah, the main thing with Tarambo Shores, which a lot of people will inform you, is that it's rough when it comes to your actual checks, because you get 1 unless you've got a bracelet start. And it's also a place you don't want to go back to, because it's really hard to get to.
Or bombs, in which case you have 2.
Yeah, 2 checks. It's great. Gonna say, oop, we're gonna slip around here. There is something I am going to mention because it's on the settings list that will be coming up within the next major patch. But the dev is looking to add more warp locations.
Ooh, that's actually gonna be nice. And hello, Biscus.
Yep, one of them is D up near D7, which is going to take mountain climbing out, and I don't remember where he said the other one was going to be. But yeah, we have 2 to look forward to. I don't have any items that make trying to do this skip worthwhile, so we're just going to walk back, because...
We've got the one near D3, we've got the one near D4. The one near D4
yes.
technically is close to D5.
So, Sonny, would you like to hear the worst thing ever?
Hit me with it.
The game expects me to have infinite rupees.
That's where we're at.
Yep, I'm gonna guess either here. Yep, there we go. 10's not that bad.
10 is much better than, I don't know, 200?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and let's check 200 too, because, okay, it's not that bad. That said, I don't have shield to do rupee duping, because I could talk about that. You can rupee dupe with sword, but it's a little harder. So I'm gonna go to the best place to get your rupees, which is generally down here. And if you can do your shield input or your sword input at the exact frame that you're picking up the rupee, there you go, you get 2.
It duplicates it, which is fantastic to use.
Yep, it's actually in the speed run. It's one of the main tricks and the worst part of logic, because if you got like...
You barely missed that one.
Yeah, if you got 8 or 9, you can generally just go here and finish it up. Because we only need 10 by technical standard. I'm gonna grab the bracelet and then see if we can't find... Oh my god, please. Bushes, why?
Because bushes are evil. There it is.
There we go. There's the 10th rupee. Normally, I would do things elsewise. Like, we could steal from the shop and then do other... Oh, sorry. I'm mainly talking about the speedrun strats, which is you would steal the shovel from the shop, then use your 10 rupees to do the trick I showed last time where you don't spend rupees for the shop to get all your bombs, and then use those rupees to get powder here. Now, I'm not going to sit around and try to get 20 rupees to get the powder here as well. I will just come back after we're done checking out the shores. Matter of fact, I might actually do another trip down to Taranbo Shores. And we're going to return home to save a couple of screens.
At this point, also, you have quite a bit more open to you. You've got the 2 checks in Mysterious Woods. One that we saw in the connector cave to the Toadstool, and then the other being that 2 Zol, 1 Moblin chest.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's the cave east of Mabe Village.
Yeah. Though I'm going with Shores just because we're still early in things, and I want to be getting out the worst trips first. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah, and surely something good must be here.
Oh yeah, I know. Golden Leaf. It's great. You know, the moment I saw a Golden Leaf, I should have showed tech skipping.
Yeah. Tech skipping on Golden Leaves are...
Oh, there we go. That's why you do go out of the way. All right. So let's...
All right, Maddie. Is it time to start breaking stuff?
Yeah, we're going to break stuff. So I was going to talk a lot more about Out of Bounds in the 101 class. But I didn't get to because, well, we didn't have Feather until 2 hours in, and by then I was tired.
So here we go. We get to have fun explaining Out of Bounds stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to show some Out of Bounds. It is very illegal to do in any race, so don't do it. But if you're on your own playing AP, feel free to do some silly stuff. So I'm going to make a quick save right here. Because I also didn't put on the save states like I did last week, because that screwed a lot of stuff up. But Out of Bounds is a thing that is very illegal for reasons like this. Oh hey, I'm in the mermaid cave. Oh hey. Yeah.
Hey, it's a seashell.
Yes. So that said, I'm going to hard reset the Game Boy.
But yeah, Out of Bounds in and of itself is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
But also a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab these rupees because we want powder soon.
Yeah, we kind of need it.
Yeah.
Only kind of, though.
Yeah. Only a little bit. There's a check here in the woods with it. I'm actually going to do a little bit of odd routing. We're gonna pop around here.
What's in the tail key chest?
Slime key. That's almost vanilla.
That's pretty close to vanilla.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's the second dungeon key.
Yep. And with what we have, we can get a couple of checks in there. That said, this is one of the biggest checks we have access to, where it's 3 checks all right next to each other.
Yeah.
Because that said, we need 20 shells, so we need the density of checks more than anything else. And that's going to be for 2 reasons.
I love that jump. The diagonal jump to get to that chest.
Diagonal jumps are the best.
Oh, for sure.
That and wall clipping. Wall clipping is also the best. See? Just,
oh, yeah.
Oop, up. Oop. Getting rude.
There it goes.
Yep. Flowers aren't real. They can't hurt you. Ah. The fish is real, though. It can hurt
The fish is very real. That fish said, uh-uh.
Yeah. So, again, to talk about density of checks, we don't have any D2 keys, but while we are here next to D2 and have barely enough to get in out of logic, there are still, I think, 4 checks we can get. If I had
Yes.
powder. Dang.
I mean, a pineapple's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
Yep. You do need powder to get through this room, though, so I did make a mistake, as you do. That said, still 1 quick check, not horrible. Then we can swing around here,
And we can grab the heart piece of shame.
which is a
That's
honeycomb of
actually the
shame.
Oh boy. We get the bees.
Yep. And we can lock that into our routing, so we would have gone out of Mabe, and we can instead now come around down here, and basically get to the same place that we were. So, I like Forest second routing for that reason, that you can just kind of go in a straight through line.
And it makes it a nice and honestly fairly easy loop to go around
Yes.
in order to just get to this part of Yuku Prairie.
Yeah. We don't have bombs, so we'd have to go the long way again. That said, I can now show off... I didn't get to last time, because we got Flipper super early. More Jesus jumps than just in D8.
And that is actually a trick I can explain fairly well, too, because I understand how it works so well
Well done.
after finally learning it.
Yes, it's honestly one of the best tricks, and we're going to use it to grab a check right here immediately.
Yeah, Jesus jumping by far is the most fun trick, and you're going to notice pause buffering in order to hit the frame where you see the splash come from Link's feet. That frame, you can then end up hitting whatever button your feather's on to use it. The screen will transition after 2 frames, so that second frame, screen will transition, and then Link ends up drowning. So you have to hit AB start select in order to pull up the return to game, save and quit, or return home menu. And after you leave that menu, you can hold down the button that you have feather on and be able to jump again after you come out of that menu.
Yep. The input display would have been showing that wonderfully, and I was definitely doing that for demonstration purpose. Also, the mysterious butt unlocks.
Yes!
A little bit of clipping, it's great.
Wall clipping, the most powerful thing we've got.
Yep. It literally leads up to just about everything. And I don't have boots to do this kind of the way I really like doing it, but we should be able to get away with at least grabbing a few checks, because again, we need check density. And D3 is our second most dense dungeon in Key Sanity.
Yeah, with, what is it, 19 total checks?
Yep. And hey, a vanilla key. That means we can go deeper. Gonna say we can do this one here. Just skip over that.
A broom?
Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about the logic in D3. So because that was broom, we don't know what broom leads to, but it's not a junk item. And that in and of itself is important, because the normal way to get to that chest is this room here. I'm not going to go in there for now because it's just one check in the switch. Granted, I would get the other check, but you can get it through other means. But if an important item ends up in that side room or that chest there, it means that logic insisted you had to go up here, which means that the chances of it having a nice item are higher. Not by a lot, but higher. Because the moment that you find junk in those other two, it means it's decided, oh, that's probably a dead end, you don't really need to do it.
And it's small bits of knowledge like that that actually go a very, very long way as a whole.
Yeah. Ooh, piece of power. Piece of power in this dungeon is really important. It's why you'll see me kill a lot of enemies in here compared to a lot of others where I just skip over stuff. Part of that is muscle memory from the from being a speedrunner of the game. But the other part of it is it's necessary for a trick. You want to get a piece of power in here, which only happens if you kill 30 enemies. And, you know, goes away if you take too many hits. I don't have anything to check.
After 3 hits, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Falling in a hole does not count as one of your hits, though. So you can feel free to be bad at the game. But having a piece of power makes this trick easier. Now, I don't have a key to do it, but that was to demonstrate what is known as the dongo skip, or as I like to call it, dong skip, because that is the best name for it.
Yeah.
But it gets you in here. You can end up locked in these blocks anyway, and just completely soft locked. If you do, just quick save and quit. It's not going to hurt you too much. Now, there's not a lot more I can check in here. I just kind of wanted to grab those first few things. And again, that key was just kind of a very lucky grab to go even deeper and talk about stuff.
Yeah, that key was fantastically placed.
Yeah. D3 does have the most keys of any dungeon in the game.
At 9.
Yeah. The next closest is D8 at 7. And I'm going to talk about this. I don't normally do this particular trick, but because we're passing by, I'm going to just demonstrate it. Because I talked about it a little bit last time, but we didn't have Feather. So I'm using the same pause buffering strat as you do for something like Villa Skip, which we'll probably do later, and I talked about in the first go. But we want to be... It's rough, this is why I don't like it. There we go. So we heard the fall sound, and now I am out. So what we want to do, hold pause, and then hold jump out. Ta-da! You can get over a 3-wide hole and grab a shield. Not the most useful, it's 2 checks in the game, but, you know. And then ideally, if you're going to do a trick like that, generally do it on your I get to hit return home after trip, because doing it again backwards still sucks.
And it takes quite a bit of time to do, because you're trying to pause buffer for that fall.
Yeah. If you have Mushroom, it is easier, though it does risk a proper soft lock, so if you're going to do that, be careful. Saving quitting out of this particular hole is also not possible. There are some staircases and such that you can take advantage of save and quit to get out of. And also, I'm just gonna... Oh! That wasn't even enough pixels. That was why I was going to show how many pixels you need to be in to know when you're able to jump.
Now, one of my favorite iterations of this is using the hookshot to do it.
Oh yeah, hookshot jumps are great. You know what? I'm going to just return home.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep trying to do that backwards. I showed it one way, and that's all we need. We also have enough rupees to pick up our stuff. So I'm going to grab hearts, because this is always hearts. And good for keeping yourself alive.
And we always want to make sure we stay alive.
Yes. Dying is not the worst thing in Link's Awakening, but you will go back to your last save and quit location, or if you return home, you'll return home. As your last save location. And that was...
That can eat a lot of time.
Yeah. Also, the death animation can eat a lot of time, so you can save and quit out of it.
Yes, you can.
It's great.
And it gets abused a lot, and I do know that. Because I abused the crap out of it.
Yep. Seashell! Yeah, so we got 3, not bad for about 16 minutes. Doot.
And I mean, considering it is Keysanity as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say pretty good as a whole.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so we're going to grab this. We're going to not pay the man, because it's a heart piece and we don't care. And we don't need a beak. Alright, and I talked a bit about this trick elsewise, but the block clip into here, if you are jumping, you can't interact with the block to get the nag text, which means you can use that as a way to make sure that you're lined up. Now, I've failed, obviously, because I'm bad at the video game, but yeah, we want to look for Link's hand being about there, or about there, and in terms of it, like, just 1 pixel outside of that, 1 pixel within that, and we can clip into here. And with Feather, that is not the worst plan in the world, because we can get both checks in here with just Feather. Which is why hinting for Feather in the tournament is banned. Because Feather replaces basically every item. I don't even know why. I had Bracelet, I don't know why I did that.
Because you wanted to show it off.
I did want to show it off.
I mean, it's very good knowledge to have.
Yeah, so normally you need boots in here, but if we use the Feather, we can do a super jump there. We can do that with Sword a lot easier, but I'm trying to do it the hardest method possible just for the sake of showing off. And
I mean, if you weren't showing off, then I would be questioning what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this last time, but if you're holding a wall, you can just control these guys, clip them into the wall the same way we clip ourselves, and you can just walk right by them. That said, we did get a sword start, which means we can take advantage of sword start, and they are vulnerable to a spin attack. If you pile them all up, it's nice and easy.
And it's fun, just to be able to clip them into a wall and then run right past them.
Yep. But hey, those jump spin attacks to not get hit by them, they're one of the few enemies you can jump over. And an Angler's Tunnel Key. We don't need that, because we already had one.
Yeah, good old D4 key.
Yep, D4 keys. I'll try to talk a little bit about kind of where you can use keys for speed, because I didn't really go into it a lot last time, because I was just like, this is how you do a dungeon with the minimal keys possible. This is how you do a dungeon, period. And I was talking mostly about dungeon routing, not so much how you can take advantage of some of your extra keys to either save yourself on tricks, or to allow yourself to backtrack certain things. Or make them easier if you're having trouble.
I know one of the big areas to try to conserve keys in the most is TR.
TR?
Turtle Rock.
Oh, yeah.
D8.
Yeah, D8, you can get away with 1 key. 2 means you don't need to do a pixel perfect trick, and any more than that is, oh cool, I get to use a shortcut.
Yeah, and then D7 in and of itself, as you and I talked before this, really only requires 1 key.
Yep, if that, it doesn't require that. I already have everything I need to need no keys.
That's true.
Alright. And also, anytime you're walking by this area, make sure you get that portal to start, because it is going to be your most important one for getting to later areas of the game. That said, we're just walking on in. Back to where we was.
Now, this is something I noticed quite a bit while I was playing AP in this a lot, is with the Feather, you actually do move slightly faster.
Yes.
While you're in the air. And
it's only on diagonals.
Yeah.
So
but
if
by
you can
using
jump
it on diagonals, it saves a decent bit of time while you're going through.
Yeah. There's also, and I'm kind of showing off here, but if you're like pushing into something and you hit the corner, you do get like a little bit of a boost out of it. It's a very minor speedrun tech, and if you're not like really good at it, it's just going to waste your time.
Yep. Good old movement tech taking a while to actually, nail down.
Yeah. To say, I showed off getting into Canalet with medicine last time, and some people have wondered about when to open the Canalet door, and generally it's anytime you're going to have to go back to Canalet. And that said, we are going to take advantage. I'm going to use some Jesus jumps here to... I'm going to stall this because I don't want to get hit. If you get hit during a Jesus jump and you started in water, it is a very bad time. Like, we're talking, you are better off simply resetting the game. Bad time.
Yeah. I've had that happen to me a few times.
Yeah, I'll probably show it off later because we're going more into Jesus jumps this time. But yeah, you can do small Jesus jumps in sections like that, which I didn't really need to do. I could get from the other side. But that lets us activate that, which means now I can get back here easily.
It's a slightly faster way and honestly a little bit more efficient way to get that warp hole activated.
Yeah, if you've got flippers, better time. But if you're in the area, you should generally get it as well, because it's A, next to D4, B, next to mountain, C, just good. It's upper side of raft game. It's all sorts of good stuff.
There's a lot of access just from that one warp point alone.
Yeah. And the other one being Animal Village saves you some time. Technically, we don't have anything to get into Animal Village right now, but that won't stop me doing a Jesus jump.
I was about to say, what do you mean? We've got Feather. We got everything we need.
Exactly. It's kind of what I was trying to talk about last time, which is Feather breaks everything. So we're really lucky we got to see as many featherless routes as we did the first tutorial I did here, because we got Feather really early. Interesting thing about that bird, you can technically get him with bombs.
Yes.
If you throw a bomb here, after it blows up, it considers it the same kind of entity as the rock, and it will fly at you. So you can get him with the bomb. You can also, and this is a non-AP thing, but I'm going to talk about it because it's funny, because there's a good boy mode in the normal branch, which lets you have Bow Wow all the time. And Bow Wow can eat that bird from the lake, so... And the item always goes towards you, so you can get the item from the lake.
Huh.
It's kind of fun.
Never actually tried that.
Yeah. So we don't have bombs, which means there are 2 more checks we can get in here. So 1... A tail cave key, that's good. We need 2 of those for a full clear.
Yeah.
And
tail cave is nice.
Yeah. And then because we don't have bombs, we're going to activate this. If you... And the only times to activate that are if you have to backtrack through this for any reason. So say I forgot Kiki, and I would be backtracking. But for the most part, you generally don't need to hit it. It's just going to be a cutscene unless you have a reason to come back. So if you can full clear this, just return home most of the time, unless you have a reason to keep going. Like, I have a reason that I'm going to need to keep going through this path. And that's
because of the lack of bombs.
Yeah.
Unless you happen to get bombs here.
That would be very convenient, but I would also still have to backtrack 2 rooms and be sad.
Yep.
Key cavern key, that's acceptable. So I am going to just backtrack through the castle as well. It's not the best. Again, ideally, if you're gonna go in here, I prefer to have Boomerang to fight this guy, because you can just do it from here and leave. It's excellent, not having to do 300 doors.
Boomerang is such a great quality of life item, and I mean best damage in the game.
Yeah, if only it actually worked against bosses.
I mean, there is one.
Yeah, I mean the last one, but all of the other bosses are sword locked, which means, yeah, it's a fun time.
I mean, you say all of the other bosses are sword locked. I know one that isn't.
Ta-da!
Nice.
Yep. So that is one of the major changes to Shell Hunt, is that you just get to go in there and grab the item. You don't collect 20 shells, and I did have to take the time to discuss with the auto tracker, because there was a glitch that it was giving me 20 shells for doing that on the auto tracker, and no way to fix it because it considered it done.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not good.
Yep, it was fun, especially when I learned the 32 cap.
Oh gosh, yeah, that would make it even more fun.
Yep. So we're gonna hop down here.
Back to the sword lock boss discussion. There is one technically that isn't sword locked.
Yes.
Maybe 2 off the top of my head.
There are a few. The problem is that there are 3 that don't require sword. Every other one requires sword.
Yep.
Because you've got Facade who needs bombs. Also, Jesus jumping for this. Don't feel like you need to get first frame. I'm apparently just showing off.
I was about to say, you are showing off hardcore here. That was gorgeous, Maddie.
It was entirely luck. I'm willing to admit.
Yeah, but it was still gorgeous.
Yes. Alright, so we're going to backtrack. I have Tail Key, which is probably where it wants me to go, that or Angler Key, because we can get down there from the roof, but for Jesus jumping to Animal Village, this here is our way. This is the only screen that has 2. And I think after I'm done this, remind me I should show how to get into Catfish Maw without flippers.
Yes, I will remind you about that because it has been quite a while since I have done Catfish Mall without flippers.
Yeah, it's a rough trick. It's one that I know of and have accidentally pulled off, but never actually pulled off, so it's going to be a treat for everyone. That said, we do have all 3 trade items for Animal Village, so that is why I'm forcing that instead of following logic, because we have all 3 items. This is 3 checks in density, and we activate the portal to come back for the desert later.
And on top of that, these 3 checks are also very, very close to each other.
Yeah. And
because you have the goat, and then you have Grandma right here, basically same screen.
Yeah. And
then you go 1 screen down, and suddenly you're at the Bear Cook.
Letter. Interesting.
French vanilla.
Yeah. A little bit of reversies. And a bottle grotto key. That's good. We needed at least 1.
Yeah. That's a key I wouldn't complain about, personally.
Yeah. Because with Seashell Hunt, we don't need to get into the boss, so we're not mandatory 2 to get into most of that dungeon. But in terms of our check density in 2, of the 14 checks, we can only get, like, 2 without a key.
Alright. Are you going to do flipperless catfish?
Not immediately.
And by do, I mean at least attempt.
Yes, I will attempt it. Actually, I should probably attempt it before I don't have the means to do it anymore. This cave here, as a one with a vertical, you can go through it backwards. It's not generally useful, except for an entrance randomizer to know you can do that. Yeah.
Since super jumping is, it's a thing.
It is a thing. And anytime you come out of a staircase, if you need to jump off of a left or top wall, you can super jump for free. So,
yeah,
Catfish
that's true.
Maw. I believe the entrance is lined up with the rock? I think it's the rock. Actually, I think it's left of the rock. I think it's right about here. No, I missed. It is the rock.
Yep.
I knew it was close, but yes, you can drop into D5 using the same logic as Villa skips and such that I have explained before. But anytime you're trying to transition down, the game will attempt to always put you on the first landable tile, which in the case of that was water because there were no landable tiles in that row. But with a little bit of finagling, gotta make sure that we are predominantly in this square. Dang it.
Aw, and you had the square too.
Yeah, I had the square, but I missed the pause.
Now you just gotta hit both of them this time.
Yep, it's fine.
You got this.
Oh, that's bad. Gonna need to make sure I do a jump. Yeah, so if I'm way too far out of that square right now, so what I want to do is jump and realign myself. Oh, I have technically gone out of bounds.
Oh, you did! Nice!
Yes, you can stand on the thing. You're not going to be penalized for it, because you're just going to screen transition down, but that is something to keep in mind. Yep, there we go, catfish.
There it is.
So, I was going to land on the, on the main tile that the dungeon is on, so that, the tongue. But what ended up happening was I pressed up at the same time, so because I was in that square, because that is where the game determined I needed to be, it just immediately shot me into the dungeon. Just gonna do this room real quick.
Just with how that trick is, it's... Oh, I love it.
It's great. And can be useful if you have everything to do D4. Now granted, or D5. Now granted, there is... Seashell.
This was worth it.
Yeah. It was only density of 2 checks, so it wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst. So I'm going to return home, take advantage of... Actually, before we do that, I'm going to not forget Mad Batter, because our density of checks for the woods is going down very rapidly.
Because we only have a grand total of 2 checks left just in the woods itself.
3.
Mad Batter and... Is it 3?
Well, it will be 3, essentially. So we got the Mad Batter, you're right. We have the Hookshot Cave, which we don't want to have to be going out of our way for if we can, and Wright's Hut is technically considered forest.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Right Hut is technically considered forest.
Yeah. Or at least in terms of, like, how many people are going to route it.
Yeah. Because I think about it as a map location where it has it labeled as Gapanga Swamp area.
Yeah. I was going to say, some maps consider it as part of the mountains. And I'm just like, no. No.
No. Absolutely not.
That said, trying to get it logically when you can get up to D8 is technically Mountain Path.
Yeah. I can see that being technically mountain.
Oh yay, Golden Leaf. So yeah, so that means that the broom was a lot of garbage, which means we probably don't need to check that top room of D3. However, how logic was originally written, and I'm not sure if this is the case for AP, but I always have to assume it is. Logic is not written with the idea that you will end when you get a certain number of shells. Logic is written that you still have to beat all 8 dungeons.
The way that the AP logic works is a little out of my wheelhouse, so...
Yeah, there's some minor differences, like I mentioned, that it assumes you have infinite rupees part.
Oh yeah, rupees are infinite regardless.
AP, I think they changed it very recently, but if you're playing any sort of an old seed, AP considers that you have something that can kill enemies, thus you have infinite rupees.
Yep. And it usually starts you with something that you can kill enemies with.
Yeah. Dude. It tends to prefer that.
Single arrow.
Yep. Joy, which isn't in the original game. Oh hey, level 2 sword.
Oh, level 2 sword.
That's moderately useful in terms of making some stuff faster.
I mean, it makes the Hinox faster.
It does make the Hinox faster, and that is still currently our only weapon.
Yep.
I was gonna say, that input display, just a little bit of diagonal, and then just go left. As long as you keep it, go.
I love doing that room optimally.
I was gonna say, my favorite optimal room is in D6. Because that one's the best. The one where you hold up left.
Yeah!
just hold up left, it's fine.
I know which room you're talking about now.
Yeah. I was gonna say...
Up left room is one of the best rooms.
Yes. Let's grab that. Key for tail. We need to go bottom route because I hit the switch. Contemplating that powder. Key for eagles. That's useless at this point, but I can talk about
I was about to say, that's very useless right now.
I can talk about some routing that I discovered the other day, though. It's not great routing. It's just a matter of, oh, I don't have any options. I guess I can do this.
I am curious about this routing.
It involved using the key to get to Mirror Shield Room.
Huh, okay.
And trying to keep it as a solid thing. So at this point now, there are about 4 checks left in D2, 5 if you consider the fact that the instrument should be a shell. So there's not much reason to go back in there until we have max keys for it, because I am not one for... Like, I'll dip if I can't do anything else, but the gamble on D2 is really intense. Because if you make the wrong choice, you're stuck. You need another key.
Yeah. Since D2's like that. Also, are you going to get the 1 cycle?
Probably with a level 2 sword. There we go. It was a very, very sloppy 1 cycle, but...
I was about to say, you almost missed that. I think you only had a couple frames remaining.
It's fine.
It's still good. Nice blue tunic.
Yes, the unfortunately superior tunic based on a couple of factors. I like the red tunic, but it is arguably worse.
Personally, I like the red tunic as well, but I also see where blue tunic is superior.
Yeah. If only in iframes that it gives enemies before them counting as dead.
Yep.
And in exchange for that, you get lifting faster, which lifting faster is nice, but...
I mean, to be fair, you also get lifting faster when you have the L2 bracelet.
Ooh.
Oh, hello, Hookshot.
Hello, Hookshot. Ironically, something that I could have gotten easier with Hookshot.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, because I think I mentioned it last time, you can just clip through that block with anything that goes through blocks. Yeah, we'll use this Hookshot, because it's a little nicer for stunning them away, because it doesn't have the animation, and we'll come back as soon as it hits them. And while Hookshot animation is going, fun fact, you are invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna...
It's powerful.
Because I mentioned the location of powder, I believe it's the top left in this room, is always powder. So you can grab powder from here if you're like really hurting for rupees and only have bracelet. Doot. And I talked about the room down below here if you do need rupees, so really there's not a lot of negative to Color Dungeon, just not a lot of checks. I've done most of this in Key Sanity, so you can see that there are 9 checks in Color Dungeon. In non-Key Sanity, it is 2. So I'll talk about non-Key Sanity even though I don't think we'll be using it for the tournament because the dungeon routing is a lot better with Key Sanity.
There's a lot more dynamic routing with Key Sanity in and of itself, though.
Yeah, it's not some of the games where you need keys, because the only dungeon that needs keys is like 2 and a good chunk of 3.
I mean, and let's be completely honest, with Key Sanity, more often than not, we as runners have a lot more of a fun time with it, because we're using more of our brain with the game as well.
It's true. But yeah, learning your key numbers and how much you can get away with in each dungeon is just such a skill in and of itself, and just makes... It turns this game from, oh, I have bracelet, I guess I need to go do D2, into, okay, I have 2 keys for D2, do I consider doing that now, or do I go later? Why am I doing this? I should be showing off the other terrible thing I want to do.
I was about to say, why are you not using the warp point?
Yes, that is exactly the problem. So at this point, Logic is very much insisting I should be doing Mountain right now. But I'm going to do some more out of Logic Featherless stuff, because check density and not having to return places. So
who needs the Mountain?
Yeah, so we don't have bombs, so there's a couple of checks in Desert that are out of our reach. So I'm currently avoiding those. That said, we can get all of the checks in Raft Game and use it as a refill. And do it as a roundabout to also do Armos Maze, which is now in Logic because we grabbed that hookshot, which we could have gotten a little while ago.
Yeah, since South Face Shrine looks for, what is it, either bomb, boomerang, or hookshot?
South Face Shrine is...
Bow and arrow, boomerang, or hookshot?
No, it will allow you through with shield.
Oh yeah, I forgot about shield as well.
Yep, shield, if you can use sword, you can technically knock them away. It has very few actual requirements.
Yeah.
This is the worst Jesus jump in the game.
I remember that the requirements for South Face are very minimal, but I just don't remember exactly all of the items for it.
They are basically, can you get to Animal Village? You can do it with Bracelet.
Yep. It's one of those moments that I don't know when I'm not playing, but when I'm playing, it's a completely different story.
Yeah. And the reason this is the worst Jesus jump is because if I get hit by any of these, I am just hard soft locked. Or rather, I am soft locked for 30 frames that happen every, like, 4 seconds.
Yep.
I will probably try to demonstrate it just to show what happens in a little bit. And how to deal with it, which is just save and quit.
I was about to say, if you get that soft lock, it's just straight up an S and Q.
Yeah. You can try to wait it out. If you're in BK mode, maybe it might be worth it, but it is very rarely worth it. And if it happens in D8 at all with the lava, save and quit as soon as you can.
Because you will just continuously take damage over and over and over again.
Yes, but it won't show you that you're taking damage over and over again.
No, it won't.
It
until
is...
you just die.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I would love if those were bombs, but they don't count. So it's a map for Angler's Tunnel. Because this is check density 4, which isn't great. But hey, it had bombs, which means that immediately changed our routing.
Eagle's Tower.
Yes.
It has the question of can you dig it?
Yep. Dude. You can also grab the hint in Raft Game. I, very briefly did, but paid no attention to it, because my internal routing is generally better without hints.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah, a lot of the times, and I will lose to runners who use hints, but sometimes they're like, oh man, sword is at this location. I need to beeline that location, and then they don't have half the stuff for it, and they end up doing hell logic tricks, and I'm just like, alright, cool, the game wants me to go this way, I could do tricks here, or...
I could just go this way and be fine.
Yeah. Now that said, if you know a hell logic trick, go for it. I'm going in here really quick, I wouldn't go in there normally, but that's just to show off this soft lock.
I'm so glad you're showing it off now.
Yeah. Just so you know how to visualize it, really. Because it's not much different. You do still have, like, the flashy iframes when you come out of that. So let's see, I gotta get him to hit me. He doesn't have... There we go. So I got hit. I can do the save and quit. Watch my input display. I can't jump out of it. I'm locked in the frames that I would be taking damage, and it is only considering me taking damage every time you see that splash happen. So even after all this, I'm still locked out of doing anything. So it's just literally, you either wait for yourself to drown like 30 plus times, or save and quit. Which also makes this cave useful. If you're going to be doing that trick, just grab that quick save and quit location. I'm also going to talk about another Jesus jump drop from here. I think I'm on the right frame. Yeah, so you can drop into here and actually go into D6. I don't have face key right now, so it's not super useful, but I'm not sure I'm going to be coming back here for this demonstration to show it again.
And that actually is a very, very good Jesus jump drop.
Yeah.
Personally, I've used it quite a few times.
Yeah, the D5 one, you'll never find flippers in there, which means you're never going to be able to get the Nightmare Key chest in terms of, again, check density stuff. Which, one check shouldn't matter unless you're in the situation where you need to find an item that kills Deathel. At which point then, cry on the inside.
I was about to say, in which case then that one check really matters a lot.
Yeah. Because currently, yes, I'm looking for shells, which, again, check density. Because that's just going to give me more shells, but I also need to find either bow or boomerang. One or the other is hard required to finish this game. Because I also mentioned using shield for them, and I should. So if you have shield, you can just bump them without ever activating them.
Yep.
Also, things that are fun, if you stun them, you can pick them up.
You can pick them up.
And use them to kill each other, or stun each other.
It's fantastic.
It's great. Dude, so slip through here.
Slip through the crack in the door?
Yep. Dude. So this friend, I don't have a lot to fight him with, so we're just going to do a simple... Actually, we don't even need to do that. Technically, level 2 sword does hurt this guy. So we can just poke him, if we want to. Level 2 sword, again, has a couple of uses.
Level 2 sword is so nice.
Yep. I believe Red Tunic also hurts him, but not as well because it knocks him back as far as it does.
L1 sword, Red Tunic does hurt him.
Yeah. I'm going to show a little bit of getting out of here without save and quit. You will very rarely want to leave Armos Maze without just return home, especially with teleporters. But you can easily get by those 2 Armos statues, so sometimes it can be worth it if you have more checks to do in this area and haven't gone to Animal Village for whatever reason, you probably should go to Animal Village if you're in that area. That said, we have 2 D1 keys. We don't have the Nightmare key, but that's not a huge issue. That is a 12, or basically a 10 check density because we don't have the Nightmare key. Because we can now full clear it, and we do have the key. So I'm going to actually run that way this now. Waiting till you have boots for this tree is also sometimes a good idea, but just in terms of where the seed is pointing to, D1 sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, D1 definitely has been sounding like a good idea. The other dungeon that might be a bit of a good idea is
D4.
D4.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely feeling more along the lines of D1.
Dude. Yeah, D1 definitely at least the easy one to go to. Because D4, and hey, there's our boots.
Hey, there are boots.
Again, do what it's calling. D4, we don't have flippers, so it doesn't consider that we can do a couple of things in there. Not many. But, dude.
Oh, hey. A Nightmare key that may or may not be useful.
I was gonna say, I love that for last week's demonstration, I got Goomba Skip first try.
Oh, you got Goomba Surf first try?
Yeah, Goomba Surf first try, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm showing it off. Because I did a lot of various save states to show different ways through D7, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this once, and then I pulled it off, and I'm like, oh, hey, well, I guess I'm doing it.
I love Goomba Surf.
I hate everything that it stands for.
I mean, I know that.
If you had one D1 key and were dipping it, I wouldn't do this check. I'm only doing it because we have 2 and Feather.
Now in AP, it's a different story because if you have your save and quit at the start of the dungeon and you decide to go through this check, if you want to, you can actually do a reset.
Yep.
And then conserve your key after doing this check.
Yes. It's not something I tend to do, mainly because reasons. I'm just don't tend to save scum that often. I also find save scumming to be questionable. It's been brought up a couple of times when doing normal LADX multi-world, not AP, where it could screw things up, so we avoid doing it because it doesn't have checks like the AP server does. Granted, the AP server will take care of that. You can save scum if you want.
Yes.
That said, I still wouldn't recommend it for D2, because if you find one good thing, but need all 3, and they are all 3 good things, it is a bad time.
Ah, that's how you do that one. I can never remember how you do the return jump.
Yep. Dude.
I hate the 3 of a kind sometimes.
I was gonna say, I've gotten very used to killing them with bombs.
So have I.
Yep.
And it sucks.
Yep.
It's fun, but it sucks at the same time.
Alright, we're gonna just take this guy out, for the sake of if we have to dip back here again, it will give us the portal. Which is a lot of, if you're going to have to double dip dungeons, just making some quality of life things easier. That said, we've now dropped our checks per capita for D1 down to 2, so we probably won't be seeing it again.
So, I have a question for you now.
I have an answer.
With the boots in tow, and still having that, and still having Boots and Bomb Cave to do, are you going to head over in that direction and then go to Angler's Tunnel from there, potentially, or even the mountain?
So my main bit, I was just basically going straight for Boots and Bombs Cave. I tend to just do all of my boots checks immediately, because they are mildly out of the way.
That's fair. Also, there's the last key to Tail Cave, so, you know, that's every Tail Cave key that, you know, we didn't really need.
Yep. This is also the Oh, I should have equipped boots. Know your equips. This is also an opportunity for us to get rid of the bomb rock and at least make our further trips slightly easier. In case we need to go into the midfield.
And that was the next part I was going to mention on that, too.
Yeah. It's one of those while we're here, grab it. Because particularly if we find shovel, we're going to need it.
And we know where shovel is thanks to that hint.
Yeah. It's like we're going this way anyway. Dude. Make sure you don't leave that screen too early, because it can respawn that, which is a bad time. Yes.
It's just one extra bomb used, which sucks.
Yep. But we have hookshot, so I am going to prioritize mountain next. It's not my preferred. I like going up mountain when I have access to everything that needs mountain. We also need to do this because we don't have flippers.
I mean, you could Jesus jump across that moat.
Yes, you could. It would be terrible. Because nothing will compare to the entrance rando, and I think it's clipped on my channel of entrance rando with that entrance randomized, and I didn't have key yet, so I came out of that from a two-sided. But it put me on land, so I was able to Jesus jump to the key and use it from there.
Nice.
It was beautiful, and I wanted it clipped because I don't think anyone had ever done it before. Because it was some of the new experimental entrance randomizer stuff.
Oh, gotta love the experimental stuff.
Yep. Dude, we have Labots. Dude.
The only thing that makes me sad right now is I can't hear the mountain music, and Mountain's one of my favorite tracks in the game.
Tall Tall Mountain is everyone's favorite track in the game. Bomb trigger!
Nice bomb trigger to get that.
Free shell. And we can get that, and then we can go around here.
Were you able to talk about bomb triggers in the first one?
Yes, I was able to talk about them quite a bit. Actually, I think I did that same bomb trigger in the first one, too.
Cool.
Or skipped the item, I don't remember. It was one or the other. If you're high enough on this, you can just jump past the second one.
Good old obstacle skip.
Yep. It also validates your run if you fail it. You are required to turn in your speedrunning license.
I mean...
I'm on my 5th license.
I've already had to turn in at least 300 of them due to Kirby Superstar. Not checking Pawpaw since you got the pineapple?
No. Because I forgot I had the pineapple. And either way, it's faster to do this.
I'm gonna do the bomb trigger method on it.
Yep. Normally I would have bomb triggered from the left side, but you did remind me I had pineapple.
I got you.
You need to yeet him pineapple via excellent methods. Angler's Tunnel, Nightmare Key. Okay, that is very pushy Angler's Tunnel.
That's heavily pushing Angler's Tunnel.
Yeah, there is now a 15 check density that we are just going to go grab.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got technically all the keys that we need, because if I remember correctly with this dungeon, you can do it with only one.
Yep, there's only one mandatory key in this dungeon, which I showed off last time. And there's not really places where the other keys, like, save you time or anything. So, really... Because unfortunately, we're going to go in here. Color Dungeon's Nightmare Key is okay, I guess. It's 2 checks. And then you generally want to save and quit anyway to go this way. And once you're going to the cross-section, going through either of those 2 doors, which are normally required... This is another one of those, if you're not in key sanity, it also means 2 of these checks have to be keys to get into the later dungeon. Oh, hey!
Hey, flippers.
Oh, I wanted to show off more Jesus jumps.
I
did recently save.
You did.
They are required to fight the boss, so... Whee! Oh.
And... Aww.
Yeah, missed the first one.
Got the...
There is also a diagonal jump here you can pull off. I don't generally recommend it because it's, like, really rough. But you can pull it off. But yeah. You can Jesus jump to here. I'm going to be put into the water because I have flippers. But you can Jesus jump... Yeah.
Yep. You just jump back on the ledge afterwards and then...
Yep.
Or jump back onto the tiles afterwards and then you're good to go.
Yep. And I mentioned this briefly, but for doing boots jumps like this, if you watched my input display, we don't need this check. And Saw might not know why we don't need that check, but the rest of the stream will have heard it. That chest just gave the key sound.
Yep.
So because we have a compass, as you can know for this dungeon.
I was about to say, as soon as you said we don't need this check, the only thought that went through my head was there must have been the key jingle.
Yeah. So the key jingle will play in one of two situations. Number one is it is a room in a dungeon where an item falls from the top, like this one. And we're going to steal it with hookshot.
Nice steal.
Yes. Point of interest, and I think I mentioned this last time, but I'm going to repeat it for the sake of it. If you grab that item, like that, it still shows up down here. This is the version of it that counts for Archipelago. So
Yep.
if it is one of your allies' items, you need to grab this. You can also grab it with Boomerang and a crafty jump if I had Boomerang.
I love the crafty jump boomerang method.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've started to fall on the train of liking this routing for this dungeon now, where you grab this and then start going around the outside.
So, thanks to you, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about it a couple times.
Yeah.
I have definitely fallen for this routing as well. I love it.
Yeah. That chest has always been kind of my do I want to go after or before, but I'm starting to get to the before route where you grab it, come up this way, and then don't get the chest here until you're coming back through the room. So then you come back through this way, grab that, and proceed to just go down here for the remaining checks in the dungeon. Because then you don't have to...
lens.
Yep, because then you don't have to go through the bottom route at all. And it also saves you some Jesus jumps. And I should clip into this wall. Because we gotta show off P-Hat Skip.
Ah, yes.
Which you gotta wait till he's about half up, and then beep!
I'm so glad you taught me that skip.
Man, love it.
Thanks, Master Stalfos.
Yes. I think I mentioned the bombs there last time. You can get them for a refill if you need them. Bombs being, you know, super useful for many things.
Case in point here with Glub Glub, if we had bow as well, then, you know, it could lead to an instant kill. Just about.
You can drop a bomb, and it does fall at the same rate as he does. So, not too bad. He's an easy quick kill, especially with level 2 sword. There was... Nah.
Yeah, Glub Glub was just
But yes,
done for the world.
We got our check. It is notably not a shell, but the instruments are removed in Seashell Hunt and replaced with shells and then subsequently randomized. So yes, extra
I think
checks.
that check might have told you to leave it alone.
Yeah, I probably should have. Would have been more fun.
Yeah.
But that said, that is every check in D4?
Yeah, that's the only check remaining in D4.
It just says 2 on the tracker for some reason.
Probably because it's still recognizing that map that fell.
I know it's definitely recognizing the map that fell. That would only be 1 check. Oh, because I left that key behind.
Key.
Yeah. Right.
I was about to say, Maddie.
Hey.
Your brain's gonna kick in.
Yeah, it'll kick in eventually. So we're gonna grab the swim checks because they are generally the next thing I like to do when, you know, I have flippers. And look at that, we just got to ignore mountain. It was great. We didn't have to Jesus jump mountain up or anything. And I did mention this check as well before. I'm gonna slip in here. So looking at our check density, I like Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Turtle Rock's looking pretty enticing right now.
Yeah, it's not in logic, but it does have 2 features. Number 1, it has the only check that requires Magic Rod, so it has a high chance of having Magic Rod if Magic Rod's not front-loaded. Number 2, it's the only check that has bow in it, which means it has a high chance of having bow in it, which we need to finish the sea. And hey, Bird Key is more excuse to go up mountain.
Bird Key is a lot more excuse to go up mountain.
Yep. So let's do good mountain routing, shall we? Because that means now, yeah, D8 and D7. We are basically prioritizing a 33 check. Or 31 because we have to consider that we don't have Magic Rod or Bow right now.
Yeah, technically speaking, 31. But at the same time, with us knowing that Shovel is in Eagle's Tower, that then makes it even more
Yeah,
checks
it's
as a whole.
37, so it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Reading logic, and I think I mentioned it before, is basically the most valuable skill for LADX, is knowing where... There's a difference between knowing where you can go, like having a tracker open that has a map, and knowing where the game wants you to go.
It's two very, very different things, and
Yeah.
knowing where the game wants you to go is definitely the larger skill in this.
Yeah. And again, Seashell Hunt, you're going to have a little bit less of that. In normal play, like, I'd have a lot more of, like, okay, I want to dip a dungeon for the sake of, you know, maybe it's got some stuff in it. In Seashell Hunt, since it's all about just the check density, I'm more willing to, like, ditch something halfway through, because it's like, I don't really need it. Now, granted, that is always going to be a risk, because there are one of two checks I need. That being bow or boomerang.
But what about a secret seashell?
I mean, yeah. Speaking of seashells... Okay, this room's not seashells. This room can be seashells, so always try to get it, and I'll demonstrate the route again for it. But just all of that, knock those two out, grab that, do this. Because this is Seashell in Seashell Hunt, and you accidentally opened that top one. Congratulations, you're now 4 shells behind where you could be.
Yeah, well, 5 shells behind where you could be.
Maybe 4. Because you get 1.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh man, there's a golden leaf in Angler's Tunnel.
Wait, there's a leaf at Anglers?
Who'd have
I never
thought?
would have guessed that.
Yes. I wonder if I can pull... I should be able to pull this off and demonstrate a wrong warp. That is very illegal.
Oh, do it.
So, fun fact, just because you think you can do something doesn't mean it would work. So we're going to do a really low jump here. Okay, yeah. So we're going to do... I think I should be able to boots through here? Yeah, okay. So just because this staircase is here, it's a real fake staircase. That is a bad time.
You're in a never-ending loop if you do that.
Yes. And that was a terrible thing for me to show off right then. Because you heard the door sound when I moved, that also resets your save and quit location. And fun fact about where that showed, I just found out another logic difference between AP and default.
Ooh, hit me with it.
So, Dade in the normal LADX has reset the wrong warp locations for everywhere to 0, 0. So it'll just throw you in the upper corner of the map where you can't move. That is the normal wrong warp location for that staircase. Which is not good. It does mean there is every chance you accidentally wrong warp somewhere very bad.
I never thought about that, actually.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's definitely something to add to my checklist of things.
Yes. Yes, and the main reason I know where many of the wrong warps lead is not from trying to use them, no. It's it's from playing a lot of Vivify.
That would do it.
Yep. Nothing quite like getting warped to random locations or tellied all the time. I had to put, like, telly on a 5-minute cooldown because it just kept getting abused.
Ugh.
Well, because option 1 is it either needs to be programmed to never put you out of bounds, which means basically combing every screen with the telly command and trying to say, this is where you can't go.
Yep.
Dude. That said... check density.
Check density of 31 at least.
Yep. Dude. Yep. Minimum 31. technically, there are also various mountain checks. I'm going to show another out of bounds when we go that way as well. But yes,
I'm gonna hit you with a question real quick.
I'll hit you with an answer.
So that wrong warp that you did
Yes.
with this staircase, if you actually go out the door, re-enter, it should reprogram the stairs to be at the right exit, correct?
No.
Okay.
So, you remember how I was running through that first cave and there were keys?
Yeah.
That were on this screen?
That's right, because the keys don't appear, because it has it set in as a totally different room, doesn't it?
Yes, it is a completely different room. They just look the same.
Yep.
Dude, little bookshot. That is a fairy if you need it, which dying up here, not the worst, because you go back to your last, entrance you went through. Dude. Beep.
Though I also figured I'd throw that question your way just in case people ended up wondering
Yeah.
what would happen.
Actually, another interesting fact about that cave that I might be able to show off is if you go through the other door there, like the one that leads outside, it just goes to the same location, because each screen can only have one exit to the overworld location.
Interesting.
Yep, so multiple exits will always lead you to the same door, because it's tied that way.
Alright, that's the jump I am bad at.
It's a jump I had to get really good at. That is a key sound. We have compass. And Turtle Rock key is acceptable.
TR key.
Yeah, it's acceptable. Can use it for a shortcut. Doot. Yep. Little hop.
Yeah.
And I routed this place like 4 different times, but I will talk about the thing that I was considering. And that is, if you have Feather, you can go do this really early. Because of course you can. I'm going to grab my boots because we're going to be going to a couple of screens. But I was considering routing going the other way with it. And technically, if you have a key and just need to get to the end of this dungeon, now you still need to do the pillars and everything, so you're going to probably end up doing stuff anyway. But you can go backwards through here with a key. So I can go to the other way if I really need to, but this also can drop into basically any of those rooms. And that is kind of the it's a maybe key. It's one I probably wouldn't recommend using because half the time in your normal route, if you've got Feather, you're not going to need it. But if you can beeline boss or just need to beeline mini boss for any reason, say your partner has an AP hint that's like what's his name? Grim Creeper has whatever. Then beeline Grim Creeper.
Yep.
What am I doing? I need to actually bomb trigger this if I'm gonna have it. Boop. Ta-da!
I love bomb triggers.
Yep, they can also be done with holes. Ta-da!
And that one's dropping 2 bombs within a certain frame window of each other, correct?
Yep, that's basically how it works. To explain it in wizard language, the programming for bomb arrows is looking for a bomb or an arrow to be placed within 3 frames. However, it does not consider which of the 2 happen 3 frames with each other.
Okay, it works the same way as the bomb arrows do, basically.
Yes.
I never quite understood it completely.
So basically, if you use the window that it would allow you to do a bomb arrow to place a second bomb through any means, you'll get away with a bomb trigger. Technically, that applies to arrows too, but arrows have a property of not liking to shoot quickly.
Yeah, they don't like to shoot quickly at all.
Yes. Also, if you bomb trigger this, do not save and quit or exit this screen. Always make sure you do at least 1 screen transition first. Because that particular tower, even if you're using the ball, will screw you over.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, it will reassemble itself even though you saw the cutscene, because it doesn't consider itself destroyed until you leave that screen. So even in vanilla, you can accidentally save and quit out of that screen because you're like, oh, I destroyed all the towers, I'll be fine. And it will proceed to just be no. Just say no.
Oh boy, more arrows.
Yep, more arrows for the bow we don't have.
Yet.
Yet. Give it time. I'll end up getting bow instead of boomerang.
Unfortunately, that's what I'm thinking, considering that, you know, D8 is available to us even though we don't have the ocarina.
Yes.
Who needs an ocarina, though?
Mm-hmm. That's one of those bits about check density. We know we won't get the ocarina there, but we don't need it for anything.
Where we're going, we don't need it.
We also don't, level 2 shield is required to get in there, and we don't have that either. But yes, that was the alternate routing that I was considering with that key, is you hit that key to come back, and then, like, hit it from here with a bomb to go this way.
Huh.
But it's really rough. It would be like a you have bombs but not feather route.
Yeah. Alright, are you going to go surfing again, or are you going to show the other method?
I showed all 3 methods, and I'm going to do the one that I like, which is using the boss key, because I have it.
Yep.
That said, Goomba Surf is still technically faster than using the boss key, because it starts you closer to the actual boss if that's where you need to go. Key Cavern key. Dude.
Starting to feel like it might be wanting us to go to Key Cavern.
Possibly. We do have the Nightmare key, and if I can get one more key, we can finish a full clear.
Yeah.
Because 6 is the magic number when you can dong skip.
This is true.
Matter of fact, I might... Rude. I will kind of explain what happened there, why that didn't go. So if you enter if you're in the square a chest wants to show up in, when,
Nice catch!
Yeah.
Woo!
See, the number of times that one Goomba has launched me into a hole from my own hubris. But if you are in the square a chest wants to show up in, the game is programmed to try to put it one square lower. And because of the conveyor belt there, it moved me into that square too, so the chest had nowhere to go and didn't spawn. Oh, I missed the lineup. But it's fine, we have real fake floors. Real fake floors, best trick. How do you get real fake floors? Pixie dust and wishes.
Pretty much.
Alright, let's grab our... free shell.
That was still a pretty good Grim Creeper fight, though.
Yep. Help. And there's that shovel.
We knew it had the shovel, we just didn't know where it was.
Yep. I mean, I'd gotten every other check.
That's true.
Quick, play the shovel, it's the best instrument. But yeah, shovel is check density 6 with what we have. It would be 4 to 5 otherwise.
I like that, TK Ninja. How do real fake floors fulfill the criteria?
Pretty much. And then we can go into the save quit menu and just gain control to not fall in that hole. The criteria is not having been on certain screens. Which is none of the screens that are in the dungeon for some reason. They're mostly outside. So you can basically, if you can save and quit in D7, and more often than not, the floors will be gone.
Yep.
Matter of fact, specifically in the speedrun, you will save and quit in here, because all of the screens between here and D7, none of them activate the floors.
Alright.
Yep. Now...
time to find out what the bird key actually is.
Yes. You know what? I kind of want that, so let's talk about Rooster Skip.
I was about to say, are we about to do one of my favorite tricks in the game?
I hate everything about it, so yes. So we do a boots jump because it makes it slightly better, and then, we talk about hookshot jumping. So, we are aiming for the pause buffer method, the pixel that, or the frame where that is touching my nose, then go into the map, and I've already realized I missed it, because I moved. We saw Link move, which means I was out of the hookshot animation. There we go. Hey, Dade. Whoop. And then we do one more. And again, we just want it just when it's touching Link. Go into the map to buffer the time, and boop, there's your one frame.
Perfect.
It is the same logic as Jesus jumping, where you're jumping on the frame that you gain control. And
that was beautifully done, Maddie.
Thank you. If you fail, hard reset the Game Boy on that one.
Yep.
Because if you fail, it will throw you down the mountain, and walking back up is like 30 seconds that you don't want to waste.
And the spot that it throws you out is one of the lower screens on the mountain. It literally just throws you out from the waterfalls in and of themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out something here. Ah, so because the instrument's removed, we won't have Marin. But if you're ever playing a bit with Marin, you can just boots jump beneath her and avoid the cutscene. Doot.
And since you bomb triggered to get the Seashell over here,
Yep.
you don't have to worry about that.
Yep, saved a bunch of time. Cost one more bomb, but it was forever ago.
Nah.
Do a bookshot, and then generally out of here, equip boots and bombs. Because you can get away with going really fast. Sometimes. If you are just beelining D8. However, I'm going to need to stop, and I realize equip bracelet.
For Mad Batter.
For Mad Batter. And I'm going to demonstrate another out of bounds that looks really juicy. Especially when you find out where it leads. So, Mad Batter. We're going to save here real quick so that I don't have to do anything again. But, oh man, these walls are really close together.
Do it.
Oh hey, it's another Mad Batter. And hey, this Mad Batter is the forest one. All three Mad Batters are connected in how they are laid out. So, you can just go. The one on the beach, the room is laid out a little bit differently, and there's actually a platform that looks like you should be allowed to go on it.
Yep.
But it just leads you to another Mad Batter room. But yeah.
Nice.
We're showing illegal things.
It might be something illegal, but it's something fun.
Yep. If you're on your own, just play an AP with a friend, go ahead. Like, no one's stopping you. Then you get sword out here, just in case that likely catches you. And we can do the hold up and right, and boots, and beep, we're in. However, I am going to show off another one of these, because it's rough. And I didn't get to show it last time, because we didn't have feather. But you can literally just jump spam this. It just hurts more.
Yeah, you take one extra hit if you jump spam, or you just walk through it.
Yeah. There's another way to do it with shovel. I still haven't learned it, and I don't want to learn it because if I'm up here without feather or boots, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. Feather boots or hook.
Yeah. I was gonna say, hook can't get you through it.
True. But it can at least get you there.
Yeah. And... Alright. And my favorite broken enemy.
This guy.
Yep. Nope. And he flies off screen because Randomizer is broken.
Vires are
He's the best. You know, I'm just gonna reset him.
their thing.
Yep. Rude! Stop! That said, best way to kill him is him flying up the bottom and powder.
Yep.
It's a one-hit kill. We have level 2 swords, so a spin attack would also kill him, but it's more fun to do powder.
And on top of that, you would have to wait for him to swoop in and hit you anyway.
Yeah, which he chose not to do. That first go. Yep, more illegal than normal illegal. Yep. I'm going to show a little bit about this room. So before... Oh, that was a key sound, so we don't even need this room. So we get to show off this. You can just jump without having to do the thing and get into this room. Though this is the one we need... what do you call it?
Rods for.
Yeah. You can jump off of that to go that way, and you can jump off of that to go that way. So you just skip that entire thing. We found a good boy.
It's our good boy.
He's a good boy. Alright.
Here comes that good boy.
One of these. And we're gonna get Vire real quick with a spin attack.
Nice.
Yes, you can catch him, but you do need Feather for it.
I have a hard time catching him.
Yeah. So this room, I'm doing it kind of slow, but... Nightmare Key for Face Ray, not bad. I generally leave that alive because it just takes you back to the beginning anyway. Yeah, we should be able to catch him in the middle room too. Just make sure our spin attack's ready. Boop. Done.
You want a fast way back to the start of the dungeon? There's your fast way back.
Yep. Saves you having to go through some menus. Now granted, we have the AP title screen on, so there's a little less time wasted that way, but still rough. Dude. I think I showed the featherless option last time I was here. Oop. No! I failed. Jump in the corner there. Nice easy jump.
Hey, that time you didn't fail.
Yes, I didn't fail that time.
Feather, like, the amount of breaks that can be done with Feather just makes so many things trivial.
Yep. Again, it's why we've made it illegal to hint for it.
I'm
just
glad we decided on that too.
Yeah, because it's just, if you could hint for Feather, oh cool, I've done 15% of my checks, where's my Feather, please? I'd like to break everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Granted, if you have a seed where you're lucky enough to get Feather early, then that's the game.
Yep, that is basically going to be the game. It's who can cheat better.
Yep.
Dude. So, always save and quit from this room. There's not much reason to not. Also, the staircase there, I believe, has ice chunks in it, so we couldn't do it anyway. My favorite route for here is just like this. So put that there. Push this. Put this bomb here. Push this. Grab
Is it
that.
time to do the block clip route?
We have enough keys to not have to do it, but yes, we're gonna do it.
Yes.
So, bomb just on the corner here. And I did talk about it last time as well, but we want to get rid of him, make sure he didn't drop an item. We want to look for the white part of Link's hat to be lined up with the, like, crack of that, and then bookshot, and we're in.
I love the block clip route.
Block clip is great. Yep. That said, always get bullied by these.
The Podoboo just decided to say, nuh-uh.
Yep. I talked about the out of bounds here last time. So this is out of bounds. You should not be here. You are required to jump down to here normally, even though, man, it's so juicy and, oh man, it's such a vertical thing. That is an out of bound tile. Get out of there. You'll be fired out of a cannon to the moon.
But I want to get fired out of an SM64 cannon.
Sorry, we don't have one of those. They're not in stock this season.
Dang, I tried.
Yep. That said, if you do have the key, you can go back, which is, while it's useful for not having the key, if you've got 3 keys, that's generally all the keys you want in this dungeon. Because we can take advantage of the fact we can go backwards to just go through the 2D section instead of the entire beginning of the dungeon again. You cannot go through that backwards if you do not have a key. And then sword to lava swim.
I totally forgot lava swimming's a thing because I haven't used it in a while.
It's generally my main way in. I showed the super jump method in last time. Oh hey, more bombs. More cheating.
Nice. More bombs.
More bombs, more cheating.
More happiness.
Ah, shite. Oop. Forgive my language. Well, we got him.
Yeah, here.
Good enough. Super jump there. I've totally forgotten that that staircase exists. I think I know where it connects to.
There?
Yeah. Yeah. The vanilla method isn't super jumping over the wall.
You're kidding me. I thought it was.
I know, right? I think I was mentioning in the class 101 that I have done that trick for so long that I was challenged not to cheat during one of the ROM hacks for LADX, and I still ended up doing that because it's come so naturally at this point.
I mean, after doing that for long enough, it's like, I don't know any other way to do this.
Yep. Dude. So there's our shell. So because there are only 2 checks left here, we are basically good on our shells. I'm gonna grab the portal here, because it's 2 checks and I don't want to climb the mountain again, and we've done everything else on mountain, which means there's not more reason to come back up here. And hey look, key number 3. Dude. There you go. That's all the keys. You can you can Jesus jump over the lava even with flippers. I showed that off last time. But if you've got that key, just do it. It's faster. Rude. Ah! Extra rude.
Eat your bomb, dong worm.
Dunk. Dunkage!
How's that? Oh, let's go with the dunkage.
Yep, sometimes you gotta dunk. Dunk on the haters.
You had to dunk on the haters there.
Yeah, I mean, they were disrespecting me. I had to return the
They
favor.
really were.
Alright, so there's our 20th shell. That means the egg is officially able to be opened. So like I said, check density. We were at 30 some odd checks here. And scale. So we do have 2 more checks we can do before we leave here. In an ideal world, we get bow. This also might be the time where, honestly, if you're in an AP race, and this is the point you're at for Seashell Hunt, hint for bow. And I say hint for bow over hint for boomerang, because bow has a chance to be in logic, where boomerang never will. Also, welcome to defeating him with sword beams. Because I forgot I didn't have rod.
Yeah. I forgot he's actually vulnerable to sword beams, because
Yeah, just don't get hit.
we're so used to having rod at this point.
Yep. Let's see if I can do the stagger step. Stagger step. Ah! That was dangerous. There we go.
Nice. Good kill.
Yep. And this is one of those things, yes, I did activate the portal. We could have come back with rod, but I don't want to come back with rod. Well, I mean, I do want. I have to come back with rod anyway, but... Mushroom?
I don't think there's mushroom for error left.
Ha!
I regret nothing on that.
Yeah. So in terms of our route from here, because we have our 20 shells, we don't need anything else in terms of items, we just need to find bow or boomerang. So we're still aiming for check density is what we really want. So the more checks are in an area, the better it is for us to go check. We have all of the keys we need to do D3, so I think that's probably going to be the play. That said, I'm going to take a bit of an odd route there because of the other stuff we have.
I was about to say, we actually have a lot of fetch quests.
Yes. So
in as well. And on top of that, the shovel.
Yes.
So...
We could do a bunch of some of our checks in D2 as well, including the boss. But I'm gonna skip that for now.
A small density.
Yeah. It's not bad density, it's 4 out of 5, but because we're missing that last key, if we make a mistake, we'd be relying on saves coming. Which is gonna take us extra time. But we're gonna turn this mushroom.
That's why I say small density.
Yeah.
It's density nonetheless, but it's not the density that we're looking for.
Yeah. Because in a race situation, you want the highest chance possible of finding what you're looking for. which right now, actually, I made a mistake in the routing, because I forgot we were passing by here first. I did this entirely for this reason.
I was about to say.
Forgot. Yeah.
I was about to say, hey, Maddie.
Yeah, shovel checks.
You're forgetting to
I was going to do my default shovel check route.
That's fair.
Yep. Catfish Maki is good. That means that Catfish Maw's checks are in rotation. We can't do anything more Color Dungeon, which is also only a 5 check density. And honestly, compare D3 versus D5, we don't have the Nightmare Key, so it's 10 versus about 13.
Yep.
So we definitely want that. That said, we're going to stop by these 2 trade items first, because we have to go buy them anyway.
And the dig spot and yip.
Yep. Which is normally the first one I do. I'd normally return home, go yip into Graveyard, into Villa Skip D3. I have a very specific route I tend to do when I grab shovel.
I can't blame you.
Yep. Dude. Stone Beak.
If this is Boomerang, that would be hilarious.
Yep. It would be. I'm also going to grab, just in case, because this is a situation where, yes, I don't use hints often, but we're in such a position that they are very useful. So Martha's Bay has the Angler Key. Animals at Animal Village. Catfish Maw has Rod. So that's something. Maybe... and nothing. Okay, so we did get a magic rod hint, which doesn't help us much. We've killed the one boss that needs it, and there's only one check in the game that needs it that's also up there, but hey, we did... oof, hiccups. We did activate the portal to get back there easily after we get Rod. Granted, that's really low priority for checks. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say,
super low priority. That is a single check, because if we get the other thing that we might need for that area, we've already finished.
Yep. That priority is minuscule.
Yeah. It is an if all else fails, then maybe. Dude. Alright, so...
if all else fails, then no?
Yeah.
Is that basically what I heard from you?
Pretty much. Because it's one check, so the only possibility, and it's a possibility, but if it is... or if the bow check has Boomerang. Oh yay, Ocarina. This just changed my routing again.
I was about to say, that kind of changes your routing again.
Yeah, because Ocarina checks are the biggest pain in the butt. So we're just going to grab this one here, and then after we finish in Animal Village, we'll teleport to grab Mambo.
Not gonna check Mamu's because Signpost Maze takes a while.
It does. I would check it if I found Ocarina. That's just because I tend to try to, again, much like Shovel, just go through my normal route, which is get Marin, grab Mamu, go around to Mambo. That also said, you don't always have the stuff for Mambo when you get Ocarina.
This is true.
Which can create its own problems.
Not a problem we have to worry about in this one, though.
As I say, the main reason I am focusing these Ocarina checks, though, is because it is a requirement for D8 to have had it, which means that the various good stuff we got in there is all behind the idea that we found that already. Again, one of those bits of identifying the logic of being like, oh, okay, this might be here. Because our biggest densities right now are D3 and D6, but we do not have access to D6 right now. And even then, we can only do half of D6 because we don't have level 2 bracelets, so it's like half density, but it's still a lot of density on the left side.
Yeah.
I am going to show this off.
Nice.
Yes, it is a very awkward diagonal jump. I think it's in... I can't remember if it's in hard logic or glitched logic, but it's pretty high up there.
Considering that I play mainly hard logic anymore,
yeah.
That is one that's in hard logic.
Alright then. That one's in hard logic, now you know how to do it. Granted, the only thing it's really saving you is, like, hook shot. So,
Yeah,
it can't be hook
literally.
shot. If you really need hook shot.
I don't need a hook shot.
But hook shot's so nice.
Okay. You
Think
got
of
me there.
think of the hook shot jumping.
You got me there.
Alright. Yeah. Normally, again, you get Ocarina, just grab these two real quick. Especially if you're like in BK mode, just grab them both because you want to get them done when you're not in a time crunch situation. Now, I'd probably label myself as a time crunch situation. Again, I could hint for bow or boomerang. I want to show what to do if you don't have enough hint, or if you still need to get things for your partner. Or at least, you know, show routing more. Because at this point, I do have the console open. I could hint for bow or boomerang. And like I said, probably the time you'd want to do it. Because it's the only thing stopping you from finishing. Yep, this is good old BizHawk.
Ooh, dog food.
Dog food, that's rough, because that's another really out-of-the-way thing. So again, really low check density.
Yeah, that's really rough.
Yeah, like this was moderate check density because of Marin and the fact that we still have Shovel. But yeah, dog food's the last thing on the beach.
And
actually, we haven't.
To D3.
We have not gotten Bomb Cave down there. So there is one more thing down there. I am lying.
Ooh, yeah. So, low check density, but not white at the point of calling it minimal.
Yeah, the number of checks down there is the number of checks still in D1, which you'd figure those would be pretty much same area. They are not. Come on. So we're gonna do a Villa skip, so we can skip the one needed leaf, and just fall our way in. Do not fall in a hole; it will put you in that bush, and then you get one more chance to not screw up. Shovel check. Bow!
Oh, nice!
Bam! And that is why you do all your checks. So yeah. Oh, yay. Fastest way back to the egg, we have Mambo's Mambo.
Play Mambo, warp with it.
Yep.
And you're more or less right outside the egg.
Yep. And yeah, that is why Seashell Hunt is a faster method. Because short of Bow being in a terrible spot, we're at an hour 30 and more than good. And that was with me stopping to demonstrate stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, check density. Had we not gotten that, or did we not know that trick, we're looking for one golden leaf. Doot. And I don't think we need to bomb trigger. I think it just happens. Yep. It just happens.
Okay.
You walk up with that 20 shells, bam.
Suddenly eggs open.
Suddenly eggs. Alright, so let's do as we watch. So we want to left,
to the up,
to the
to
right,
the right,
right,
up again,
and
to the left,
up.
And finish with an up.
Yep. So I will point out, as I try to get this bomb trigger, which requires mashing and sucks, and I failed, so we're gonna have to fight it the old-fashioned way. But you'll notice from our remaining checks, we went with that high 32 check density. That gave us all of the shells we needed, and look where we are. Bam. We just needed that one check, and like I said, it's AP. You can easily just hint for it and give yourself a beeline. Again, though, to discuss it, D3 would have been my next kind of, I'm going to go full clear that. Just for, again, check density. And I'm not sure how much I demonstrated its routing with Feather. Because I think we didn't have it last time. I know I at least showed some of Dodongo skip.
I mean, you hit the Dodongo skip, super jump, and then you also hit the super jump to grab what if I remember correctly, that's the compass chest.
Yes. Ah, rude. Because I might talk more about D3 routing after the boss here. Dude.
Could go back and show it as well.
Good. I'll show how to do a normal fight at least, because I tend to cheat. Also, I think we didn't get the quick kill on Moldorm last time. Aghanim is the worst phase.
With a 50-50
Spin
chance
attack,
between
and...
blue
didn't stun lock him again. I've been having so much trouble with him lately. Anyway, 8 hits. Easy enough.
Yeah, Moldorm, for some reason, is the one that trips people up the most with trying to get the quick on him.
Yeah, because you gotta hit him at, like, the right frame.
Yeah, and then Ganon is super easy, because it's a spin into just using boots for days.
Yeah. Dude.
And now for Deathel himself.
Yep. So, doing this with Bo is a treat. You wait for his eye to be fully open. You can get up to 4 hits. I'm having some trouble with the BizHawk input lag, so... Yeah. There's a little bit of input lag for BizHawk.
Even still, grabbing 3 is
Yep.
not that bad with the input lag.
Yeah. There we go, there's
a 4.
His arms have desynced. There we go.
Nice.
Yep.
GG.
Easy. Just watch his arms. Again, I think I mentioned it last time, a lot of people like to push him in the corner, but I have a problem with object permanence, so I insist on being able to see his other arm.
That's fair.
Yep. But yeah, that is Seashell Hunt, a significantly easier version, and the only thing you need to worry about in it is your check density, because the only things you need to finish are bow, sword, and on a good day, feather.
And the 2 big things to take away from this are pay attention to your check density.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what the game's telling you for logic.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean,
Now,
outside of that, just play to the best of your ability.
Oh yeah, for sure. With it, when it comes to the check density as well, you can sometimes run into the issue of something is in logic versus something has very high check density. So in this case, it was D8. I could go to D8, I could pretty much clear D8, and between it and D7 and making Mountain 1 trip, 32 check density. So it was just so much stuff. Okay, you can need powder for Blob, or you can bomb trigger it. So it's a 50-50 on which one you need, and if you're trying to force the bomb trigger. Because if you bomb trigger that fight, I have shown the sword quick kill. And technically, you can spam your sword and get hits on him, it's just really not fun and very random. But it was how I did it as a child, because I was a very small and a very stupid.
I mean, honestly, I need to learn the quick kill method, the sword quick kill after the bomb trigger.
Yeah. I just found it funny that I found the sword method first before even deciding I should try to use powder on that phase of the boss.
That would do it.
I am no longer small, I'm still stupid. Date is correct. But yeah, so even though we were only about an hour 40, probably even less considering the hard resets. And
I would say about an hour 36, honestly. All things considered, hour 35, maybe.
I'm saying hour 38 with what the in-game time is going to say, because it does consider lag.
That's true.
But it does continue going after, for any resets and such.
That's true. So yeah, it should say an hour 38 IGT.
Yeah. About that. But yeah, you'll see Seashell Hunt versus Instruments is all about your checks per minute. Checks per minute will do you well in, X number of instruments. But in Seashell Hunt, it's everything. Because your checks per minute is going to influence, did I find Hookshot? Did I find level 2 bracelet? Did I find sword to beat your bosses?
Hell, even just level 1 bracelet makes a massive difference.
Level 2 bracelet is necessary for finishing D6, though. that's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, if you've got 8 instrument, you need level 2 bracelet, you need hookshot, you need flippers because you need to fight the fish.
Yep.
It's a rough time. And your checks per minute is going to pretty much affect everything.
Checks per minute go a very, very long way.
Yeah. So even with all the out of bounds... Nope, just 140.
Oh, 140.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a 144 checks out of 220, and we know where most of those were being in D6, D5, and D3, because we barely touched them. Like, I think we dipped 1 check in D5 just to show off a trick, and 1 check in D2. No, we did more D2. We did most of the clear. But yeah, like, we skipped half of our bosses. Our post items on our instrument items were okay. The shovel was very necessary, which also made that D7 dip. And that's the aspect you can't practice for with Randomizer, is your luck. Because it was very lucky that shovel was there, and that I am the type to do shovel checks. Someone else might not. Someone might say it's 5 checks that are scattered across the world. I'll just go into D3 and do all of D3 first, which wouldn't be the wrong choice for routing, but would have lost this race if it was against me and we were doing roughly the same thing.
Oh yeah, and thanks to you, I'm also one of those people that really likes doing those shovel checks.
Yeah. I'm one for shovel and ocarina checks. The moment I get them, I just do them all because of how out of the way they are. Because it's just like, I'm going to have to go out of my way anyway. I don't want to be doing that when I'm in a crunch situation. I'd rather do it now. Because worst case scenario, I know I'm someone who does those early, and if they are good, I know I'm going to be ahead of everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Which, you know, makes a difference. That said, Sonny, did you have any questions or requests?
You said you wanted to show off more of the D3 routing.
I do want to show off more D3 routing, if that's okay and we have the channel, considering we finished about how I expected, but significantly earlier.
Yeah, I think we've got the time to do so. I mean, as far as I know, there isn't anything going on for another few hours, being, you know, about 6 hours from now is when the next thing's supposed to happen.
Yeah. But first, we'll enjoy Best Girl.
And that's not even on this channel, the FFR channel.
Yeah, isn't it on... It's on one of the other ones that I can't help too much with. And it's also very late in my time zone.
It's over on Speed Gaming. It's part of the Lefanish League that we've got going on. Totally not corresponding to this.
Yeah, so I'm going to show off just some more D3 routing, because I didn't get to as much last time, and I did mention that some of my major routing parts of it, ideally, you tend to want to have boots before going into D3, just because it's a hard required item for a lot of it. That said, it can also contain boots. And some of your gambles, like if you have all the keys, you can get away with doing a lot of stuff early.
Yeah, Key Sanity D3, if you get all the keys, it's a thing.
Non-Key Sanity D3 there's an extra key for D3 no matter what you do. That said, I also did apparently at one point pick up an extra key. So I'm very sad I'm not going to be able to fully show off one of the things I like. But yeah, so we can grab the check here, easy enough. I'm not going to bother with it because we have everything we need. But normally grab that, head in here. I think I mentioned you can get this with just raw boots. You can raw boots through it. You can also hookshot through it. And also it makes you float.
Yeah, I love that side effect of it making you float.
Yes, you can hookshot to it and it'll push you up. Just got to make sure that you don't let it push you in. Or you can do the normal sword and bootsman. And look, I grabbed it anyway. That said, if you're not going to kill this thing, save and quit. So
yeah, always S and Q if you're not going to kill it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just stuck there.
Yeah. Now, I did do this check I would normally do in a normal grab if I have boots, but then I would ignore everything that's in the middle section and just run up here. Make sure that Zol dies. Alright, so this trick, Start jumping, swap to the sword, super jump input. Face key.
Can you do that again?
I can do it again, but you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll even show you another way to get behind there if you don't have boots but do have hookshot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, just spam hookshot. It'll let you through. And then you can kill this guy from this side and go down that way and do that. Because that is a pushable block. But this in particular, so if you've bonked, you fail. So you want to boots, make sure you start running. Jump, turn.
Okay.
Yep, jump, turn, swing. Gets you through. And then I would normally do this and then go do the super jump down in the other room. Come back up here. When I have the keys, I will go and grab these, because it's faster to do them this way. That said, single arrow. Like I said, this room can often be. And if you're not in key sanity, these two rooms are always garbage. Doot. Key for Turtle Rock. Key Cavern is also one of the better ones for listening if you do have Compass, because any of the chest rooms, you'll know, unless you don't have the Nightmare Key yet, that it is hot garbage.
Suddenly, you have 21 shells.
Yep. Doot. Normally do that room. I normally like my routing to do through this room, into this room, which is, I normally do faster, but I'm taking my time because I really want a piece of power.
Yeah, we're looking for that 30 enemies killed threshold.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
And we want the piece of power because it makes the jump, it makes the Dodongo skip jump easier. I'm going to show off some stuff here as well. So these guys you can get with arrows. If you don't have bombs, you can actually get this dude on the right side of the room. And when his bounces will be enough to actually open that for you, because it opens from both sides. With Boomerang, you can grab that, but if not, that is a quick way to peek it. Swing back around here, and then with our piece of power...
It's time for the Dodongo skip.
Yes, we have 7 keys, which means we don't need to do Dodongo skip, but... And I screwed it up anyway! Yay! Hooray for BizHawk! Alright, well, then...
Pardon me.
It's alright. I get to do my kill route. So if you screw up the trick, you can use a kill route to get through. You just want to take that guy out. So that's 1. There's 5. 6, 7. 8, 9. You need to wait for them to die. 10, 11. 12, 13. 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26, and then this room, we'll get it. Correction, it has to be an enemy that actually drops it. So this room I will get it. Or not. Did I miscount?
I don't think you miscounted.
Yeah.
It should have dropped.
It might be because I have level 2 sword. So some of those would normally count as 2, but they're only counting as 1. But you can do this without it, if I could pull it off. And this is why D3 is one of the worst ones for routing. Because you can make a lot of mistakes if you're trying to go fast.
That was a nice quick 4.
Yep. Dude.
10.
No, and there's an acorn. Well, no point doing it now. Anyway, back to the routing, if I could succeed this time. If you get an acorn, you cannot get a piece of power. It prevents either one of them from spawning as long as you have... Oh my, crispy BizHawk.
Holy BizHawk, what are you doing?
Being crispy, apparently.
Yeah. I saw that just stop for a second and
Yeah,
lag entirely.
it happened on BizHawk. It was not like a stream issue. Oh my god, please! Let me through!
You're like right there.
I know, it's the worst. But without a piece of power, it's really hard to do. Or harder to do. You know what I should do is just unlock the first door, so if I fail, I can just go. Alright. Just do a little bit of D3 demonstration. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Dude, there's an acorn. Yeah,
I'm glad you
acorn
didn't pick up
is...
the acorn that time.
Yep, acorn is less enemies killed without taking damage. Which, if you're not taking damage, why do you need an acorn?
Yup.
It's so bad. Oh my god, please, a piece of power. My kingdom for a piece of power. Is this like an AP-based change?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't. But I am very clearly not getting pieces of power. There we go.
Suddenly, a piece of power.
Pizza power. Alright.
Cowabunga. Oh, wait.
Cowabunga. So now we have that little bit of extra movement speed. And that makes the difference. So you have to be really quick with the dongo skip.
Piece power what? Doubles your movement speed?
Nope. I think it does. Yep, I'm very stuck again. Because Oh. I'm having the worst time with this. Maybe I should just stop.
Well, I mean...
Yeah.
Didn't you get it the first time around?
I did, but didn't have the key.
Yeah.
And there's extra routing after the key to consider.
That's fair.
Dude. That said, people know already enough. Dude. Just get you as well, just because I can. I'm wondering if it's level 2 sword, and like making the Zols count as half or something.
I don't think it is causing them to count as half.
Well, because this guy in the middle would be 2 kills otherwise.
It's true. I mean...
Granted, it's normally supposed to be the exact 30th.
Yeah.
Because piece of power routing in other categories is very much a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, AP may have minorly changed something.
I think you might be right.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, you can do it without piece of power, but it is easier with. Yep, double jump off there. These have been removed, I think I mentioned before. Don't think it's AP. Because I have never had that issue before in vanilla.
Good jump.
Dude, swing around here.
22 whole shells? What?
Yep.
Oh, there was the piece of power.
There was the piece of power. Way late for some reason. You rarely have level 2 swords. Yeah, it might just be level 2 sword causing the problems. Killing them with bombs means you can come back through this room without having to get rid of them again. So we know it's a key in this other room. I'm gonna grab it just cuz. Because it's fun. Color dungeon key. I was gonna say the tracker stopped updating because I finished the seed.
Yep.
But, yeah. Check density in D3, and then, again, if you're on 6 keys, the way to do it with just 6 keys... Now, we have 7 because we got lucky. But I'm gonna unlock this just to make it, more. If you unlock that, you don't need to do Dodongo skip, so if you have 7, that is the preferred of these 2 that you're skipping. It's fine. It's fine. This is what's gonna happen to me in the race. Just watch it. We're gonna get around to actual racing. I'm gonna be on Dark Moon's team, and I'm just gonna fail the Dodongo skip every time.
Yeah, suddenly you're not gonna be able to hit the Dodongo skip.
Yep, my Dodongo skip, my speedrunning skills, they're gonna drain outside of my ears. Dude. Rude. Say, I'm not gonna bother with this again. I don't need the piece of power. Because, yeah, that's about what piece of power would be. Oh my god! Why?
The bounce trajectory is what's getting you there.
Yeah. Honestly, I think, if I had to guess, this is because of my muscle memory and BizHawk's minor delay. Because it's such a tight trick.
Yeah, BizHawk has a very, very minor delay.
Yeah.
But it is enough of a delay to where it throws you off entirely.
Yes. So if you're practicing on BGB like I tend to, don't. But if you're gonna speedrun, please use BGB. As it is legal.
BGB is also really good.
It is very tight. But yes.
Granted, you could also use, I think GBI as well.
There we go.
Nice.
Alright. And I think I mentioned the Brock clip here before. This is the ideal key of the 2 to skip. And I showed this off last time, but I'm going to show it off again because it's fun. If you don't have boots, you can do this.
What?
It's great. I love it. It's one of my favorite things that I learned later. I think it's like hell logic, but it's so great. It's so fun.
That's hilarious.
Yep. Just pull off the wall, and then because you are looking in that direction when going on the spikes, it allows you to just go get it. That said, that is all that's really important for the D3 routing, is the Dodongo skip stuff and kind of how to route in and around it with your key logic. Because if you get the keys to not need to just unlock that first one. But that said, I think that is everything worth saying about Seashell Hunt. Because, yeah, we talked about our high-density dungeons. You can go into Magpie, as I have here, and put on the number of checks that are in dungeons. Now, you do have to adjust the settings. They don't pull automatically from Archipelago like they do from the original, so you have to manually set your settings for what is up. So that is why we have the requisite number of checks. But turning on Seashell Hunt means that the instruments are added to the dungeon check counts. And then just make sure that you've got key sanity on, otherwise it will show you the non-key sanity values, of which are very low. I'm actually going to hit this hard reset button and crash Magpie like nobody's business.
Oh my gosh, Magpie just died.
Magpie has died horribly. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Alright. It's fine. It's fine.
I need to give Magpie one letter right now.
F to pay respects.
F to pay respects to Magpie.
Yeah, it's gonna require a real. But you can see the chest numbers for each dungeon on this reset. So D1 has 12. It has 3 keys, and then the normal combination of Nightmare Key, Compass, Map, and Stonebeak. So if you don't have Key Sanity on, or don't have those individually randomized as you can in AP, you can individually randomize those. You're looking at 5 checks for D1, and that's with the Seashell, or with the instrument being removed. So it's even less otherwise. So your check density is going to be basically any of these numbers minus 4 from the main stuff, and then 3 for D1, 5 for D2, 9 for D3, which means it's a whopping 5 checks. Again, you're going to be really low on density because the keys are so necessary for its logic. D4, again, your keys are going to be mostly early, but it is still about 6 checks, which is not bad. D5, only 3 keys, so again, about 6 checks. D6 is another 5 keys. No. Yeah, D5 is...
D6 is 3 keys, I thought.
No, D6 is 5 keys, you just never use any of them.
That's fair.
They're mostly key blocks scattered around and getting to the mini-boss. But we skip them all with how we route the dungeon. So yes, it's 5 in D6, which means, again, 6 checks. D7 is only 3 keys, so it's actually like 6 to 7 checks, I believe. So not bad. D8 is horrible without key sanity. D8 has 7 keys, and like none of them are necessary because of how many like weird extra routes there are to the game. Yeah, swap off still this loading screen though.
And then Color Dungeon is just Color Dungeon.
Color Dungeon, the only 2 checks in it are the last 2. Because it has the 4 things and 3 keys. So the only checks in it are the removed tunics being changed over to elsewise. That said, anything you would like to finish off with, Sonny, before we say goodbye?
No, I think we hit everything we really needed to on this, and I mean, you know, I didn't have very many questions, but at the same time...
You still had a few.
I still had a few, and definitely showed me some tricks I need to work on, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm not the best, and there's an entire video series by Dragon that goes into every logic trick from hard to hell that Dragon C0 has done. I think it's almost like a 4-hour watch stream, but it's every single trick. So it's quite the watch if you just want to learn stuff that I wouldn't do normally, that I don't consider fast, that you can add to your repertoire. That said, next of these classes, the 103 is going to be with FFR and talking about how to appropriately use the hint system between you and your FFR partner, which is kind of the last major thing to go over before this tournament starts. So what do you think, Sonny? Any questions that you would have for that coming up?
I mean, it depends upon who's going to be available to play with you for that, because
this is true.
Time, we also have our co-op tournament going on right now that Darkmoon and I are teamed up on.
That is true. I commentated you both. It was fun.
Oh yeah, but you might be able to get him in for that, or potentially even have me run in that with you. It just depends upon when we have it scheduled.
Considering he's my partner for the upcoming thing, I should probably practice with him.
I think that would be a very good idea.
Yep. But that said, look forward to that. That will be within the next week or 2 is probably when I'm going to try to schedule that. Other than that, there is all the other amazing FFR content to look forward to. The co-op tournament, the Lefenian League, and I think that's all that's going on right now, isn't it?
Yeah, so currently we have the co-op tournament going on, as there will be another match of it tonight, though it is not being restreamed. It is between my team with Darkmoon, Twilight Over Melman, versus the Nuke Kids on the Block, which are Luffy and Shumbabi. That's going to be an amazing race coming up at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. The Lefanish League has a game going on tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern over on Speed Gaming Prime. So that's also going to be a very good watch. As for other things that we have coming up, after Summer Co-op, we're going to be off for a few weeks, and then it'll be Speed Gaming Live online. Granted, we're looking at holding this tournament somewhere between the Summer Co-op event and Speed Gaming Live. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, and come join us here in the FFR Discord. As you can tell, we have broadened our horizons to far more than just FFR. We have Super Mario RPG Randomizer, we have Castlevania Randomizers, we have all sorts of stuff. We actually recently had our Summer Marathon that went fairly well. So if you ever want to jump in and potentially help out with our I think it's biannual marathons, because we have 2 of them per year.
They want more me's capable of helping. Please come. I can't do all the work.
Yeah. We would love to have you along, submissions, anything like that. And when it comes to that marathon, our next one's going to be in December. So there's a lot of time to be able to get stuff together and actually help out with that. But if you're interested in joining the AP tournament that we are about to have with FFR and LADXR, absolutely come join the server. Feel free to inquire about it. We'll get you set up, and we can help you out.
Especially if you're an FFR player. We're kind of low on those, apparently.
Yeah, because I'm an FFR player, but I'm also an LADXR player. And
the LADX players are so itching to take a chomp at the block. And if you want to see more of me, you can, check out my channel at Isabel Zephyr. I do Link's Awakening every week, so you can check more routing, ask questions there. I'm always open to asking questions. And if you want to torment me with FFR, it's one of my points rewards.
And on top of that, we just love Maddie in general.
Apparently. I keep getting put on comms. That said, hope everyone had a good time, and we will see you around.